The Idol. More like The Idol. It's a very dull show.
You told me you had this.
Yeah,
you told me.
I think this is a good intro.
I trusted you.
Yeah, and now look what you've learned. You've learned not to trust people.
Much
Just
like HBO
should not have trusted The Weeknd.
Welcome to Bottle Episodes, everybody.
I'm just a freak, yeah. You know I want it bad. And we can meet ya, but I don't need to know your name. You can pull my hair, touch me anywhere, whipping chains. I'm just a freak, yeah. So show me why you came.
Welcome to Bottle Episodes. My name is
Hello.
David Piccolomini.
I'm Daniel Crow.
And this week we're joined by returning guest.
Bobbi, Elfie.
And we are here to talk about The Idol.
Wait, The Idol.
No, once. You get it once. You get it once. We're doing anti-comedy. I'm okay with it. The Idol, the show created by Sam Levinson from Euphoria and The Weeknd from his
the day
own
after
Euphoria.
Friday.
We're less than a minute in.
Yeah, it's already our best episode.
So The Idol, for the I guess, how would you describe, Bobby? You're a fan of this show.
I like this show, and I feel attacked already.
Much like Lily Rose Depp felt the entire way through
Yeah.
this show.
Boy, did she.
God, it is. Okay, so the basic. Do you want to try that? Or I can do it.
You do it.
Okay. So Jocelyn is desperate to reclaim her rightful title as the greatest and sexiest pop diva in America after a nervous breakdown disrupted her most recent tour after Tedros, a notorious nightclub entrepreneur, reignites her passion. So even that description is poorly written.
Yeah. But also, it's weird that they're like, oh, she needs to reclaim her title. It's been like a year since she's done anything. Do people really fall out of the public eye that quickly?
Yeah, so she's supposed to be based off of, I think, a mix of a bunch of pop people, but predominantly, I want to say Britney Spears.
It's a lot of Britney.
And it's, a year is so long. Like, especially, they're doing it now, but during the time of like Britney, Christina, Mandy Moore,
Yeah, there was just like,
Jessica Simpson, it's like if you're not like literally popping out hits every single week, you're done.
Counterpoint, it's been how long since Britney Spears had a hit and we still remember her?
Well, she
I
was
mean,
she
not
got
in the
back
best way.
She
yeah.
got back into the news cycle in a different way.
No, but people never forgot. It wasn't like 10 years ago you would go Britney Spears, people would go, who?
No, but they wouldn't go, oh, Britney Spears, the sexiest and most world-dominant pop star
But
in
she
America.
was still able to play arenas if she wanted to.
Right now, sure, but it would be in a nostalgic way. There's a difference between like Britney Spears and Taylor Swift right now.
I see no
Taylor
difference.
Swift has never had an HBO show based off of her.
True.
Ergo, lesser star.
Maybe, yeah.
So this show, it's kind of based off the Britney. They're doing a lot of like they like show a lot of. There was something else like where like in the background it was what's her name from Basic Instinct was in it, I think. Sharon Stone. So they're doing the whole thing of like, this is the next blonde bombshell, and they're trying to do all that metaphor for it, but they don't really know how to do subtlety or metaphor. Or
There
like,
was nothing subtle about the show. I don't think it's meant to be subtle at all. Like people are mad about the show for the things it didn't do, and it's like, no, I don't think they meant to do that.
Do you know what the thing is? I'm willing to bet we did see the watered down version. Because let's get this out of the way. 90% of this show is The Weeknd putting his fetishes on television.
yes.
And
Absolutely.
I'm willing to bet HBO had to have a little bit of a talk with them, like roll it back a little. And what we saw is the sanitized version.
What do you think his fetishes were?
Oh, it definitely
Breath
not
play?
like choking women and putting them under robes and making them suffocate. That's definitely not a thing The Weeknd is into. He only does it for, 30 minutes in this episode.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm also like, does anyone not listen to his music?
People do, but
I've listened to The Weeknd.
I'm really into his music. I like his music.
You're allowed to like his music.
He's
Like,
Yeah.
very popular. You're not going to
I
suddenly
know,
get people
yeah.
banning you.
So I'm really into his music, and he definitely comes across as like a druggy fuckboy. But it's also like we don't know him, you know. You
I
don't
feel like I
this
know him
dude.
pretty well now.
the guy or the character.
I don't think he was playing a character that much.
Yeah, I mean, he's kind of not doing
'Cause he's
anything
clearly
on
not a
screen.
good actor.
Yeah,
He's not a good actor, but he did a good job of being. He's not a good actor because he had no range throughout any of the episodes, but he did a great job of being a very intense creep.
Which is probably they just had him play himself. Because are you familiar with the production of this show at all?
No, explain. I don't think so.
So they had someone other than Sam Levinson directing.
Mm.
And they apparently got done 80% of it. It was a woman named Amy Seimetz. I'm not sure how to pronounce it.
Mm-hmm.
But she's like fairly acclaimed. She's made a lot of indie films. I think she had made the show The Girlfriend Experience, which was based off a Steven Soderbergh film. I think that was on Stars or something. She was established, and they had her directing it. At some point, The Weeknd fired her. Literally, the quote he put in public was she was making it too focused from the female perspective.
wow.
Which, even if that's what you think, dude, don't say that. Like, because no critic is going to take you seriously after you've gone publicly. And I actually think, because she's a respected filmmaker, I think the first 30 minutes of this show were her stuff left over. Because the first 30 minutes, I think, are pretty good. And then The Weeknd shows up.
Really, you like the first 30 minutes? Though.
Yeah, I like it. It almost feels like a Robert Altman film, or maybe even the thick of it. It's not as funny, but like there's the constant movement and problems keep getting added up and added up. People talking over each other. I don't mind the first 30 minutes of the show at all.
I agree with you. I really like the cinematography of it, especially in the beginning.
Oh, absolutely. This show, 10 out of 10 on style.
Yeah.
Like actual, like putting all this stuff together. Like it's fun. It's engaging to look at. Honestly, this is going to be weird because normally I'm not this guy and I feel so comfortable. There is too much sex in this show.
Imagine how I felt. Yeah.
Even in the first 30 minutes, she's like, yeah, I'll just like fucking get my nipples out. I'm like, okay, like what is what do you try? Like the intimacy coordinator is the villain?
Now,
of-
I had heard about that scene, and I had always heard people say like they're making him out to be the villain. I did not interpret it that way at all. I thought that's to let you know, hey, everyone in this show is a villain.
Yeah, I guess that's what I mean, but that's the antagonist. Like, he's the antagonist of the show.
But I don't think they present him as the bad guy at all.
Who?
The intimacy coordinator, the stuff. Everyone else is in the wrong for locking him in a bathroom so he can't do his job.
He's like, oh, he's such a prude. He won't let her do what she wants to do.
They
yeah,
want,
I know they say that, but I interpreted it as like we're supposed to think Hank Azaria is the bad guy here.
Oh, Hank Azaria is not the bad guy.
You're
No.
just saying that because Hank Azaria is likable.
First off,
yes, but that's what we're saying is they didn't get a likable intimacy coordinator guy to play him. They didn't
But
get like even like
I'm
Richard
just going on
Summer
the
from Mad
context
Men.
of the words. I can't imagine how you could interpret him as the bad guy. In
I
that
don't
scene.
think Hank Azaria is ever the bad guy throughout the whole series.
Hold on, let me. I don't know what else he's done in the series other
Well,
than
he
the
did
crime on an
did
Italian accent.
Yeah, he did a Poos accent.
That
at one
wasn't
point,
an
and then made it
Italian
the villain.
accent. What was that?
That was
wasn't
Italian.
Italian.
It's
No,
Italian.
it wasn't.
That was
It's
supposed to be
Italian.
I genuinely thought that he was like, I thought it was supposed to be either Russian or Israeli.
No, Italian.
Which is
That's
how you know it's
insane.
bad.
They're just-
That's so. I
it's-
thought it was a great Russian or Israeli accent.
Well, also those are different accents.
They are, but sometimes, depending on how long a person's been speaking English, like I can tell somebody that grew up speaking English from an Arabic-speaking country as opposed to learning it later. Does that make sense?
It's just so weird that you thought Hank Azaria was doing a different accent because if there's one thing he's known for, it's being good at voices.
Not this accent, apparently.
Yeah.
I liked him.
Honestly, I do love Italian Hank Azaria in the show. I'm having fun with it. I don't think it's good, but I also think a lot of the show
I think
like
it's a casting issue. I think that character is supposed to be a bad guy, but they got a very likable guy.
Why do you think he's supposed to be a bad guy?
Because he locks the intimacy coordinator in a bathroom for 6 hours.
he is.
Yeah, no,
the
you
whole
know-
series just trying to make.
He's also exploiting a poor girl.
She's not. She's not little.
No,
She's,
he said when he met her, she was 11. He's been exploiting her since she was a little girl.
Oh, that's true. Well, her mom mostly was.
And she's dead now. Mm-hmm. But I think, Hank Azaria helped. Like,
I helped.
Yeah.
And I helped.
I kind of read it as she almost has Stockholm Syndrome for fame. Well, what other life would she have? She doesn't know any other life. She's been doing this since she was a kid. Everyone around her is bad, and they're exploiting her. That's how I interpreted that opening.
Well,
but then it all obviously falls apart when The Weeknd shows up.
Well, but
Correct.
that's my point though. Is the TV show The Weeknd doesn't like the intimacy coordinator, and so then when you watch the show, it's from his perspective. If he's part of, it's him and Sam Levinson creating the show. So the problem is that the show. It is showing people being bad people, but it's not showing they get away with it. There's no backfiring for that.
I guess my assumption was when I was watching that was I thought that was something that Amy Simons had filmed, and I probably felt a bit of a tug of war between how she was interpreting it and how they had written it.
Gotcha. Well, they I just checked. It said that none of her footage was used, but they might just
never
say
mind.
that.
Yeah.
So also they may have
So
just
she got fired early on.
I heard it
no
was like
80%.
filmed.
80%.
It was 80% filmed, and then they just redid it.
Oh, shit.
Yeah,
I didn't
80%.
understand.
And I
That's
think
what
this
that
is one
meant.
of the things, because one of the famous things about The Idol was they announced this 6 episodes, but only aired 5 and never commented on it.
Oh, no, they did. I looked up a lot of articles after, and they were like, no, this is what we intended on doing.
Right,
It
but
did.
they had announced 6.
Yes. And then they were like, no, we intended to end with 5. And the way 5 ended was a satisfying, fucked up ending. So you're like, okay,
No,
I
but
could see this. You don't need another season. They didn't say if there was going to be.
Well,
They
there's
got
not.
canceled. They got canceled.
It
why,
did get canceled.
That's why we're doing this.
I didn't even look it up.
We only do canceled shows.
Oh,
But,
okay.
Well,
Some weren't canceled after one season that you've done.
No, but we only do shows that have already been off the air.
Yeah.
Got you.
We're not
Okay.
going to comment because shows get better.
Oh,
yeah,
that's
like,
true.
as much as people hate Velma currently, a 2nd season is coming out, and it could be great.
Never
So why would we cover that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
But like I think when they fired her, they didn't have time to film everything they needed to, or in the 2nd episode, it feels like they just sort of put in some ADR and like we skip over what would have been a whole episode.
What do you mean?
Because the 2nd episode starts off with her being like, I made a new version of this song, and I think we should release this version. And they're like, well, we're not going to do that. She's like, well, I want to do that. And then there's just like a phone conversation off screen between her and The Weeknd, which is like, I'm going to release the original song. And then an episode happens afterwards. Like they set up a conflict that is immediately resolved. I think that was supposed to be like a full episode that just got cut out. I think that's the missing 6th episode.
Bobby, I guess let me ask you a question. If you created a show and then it ended up kind of being a shit show, people didn't really like it overall. Critically, it was not well received. And then all this budgeting stuff you had to get rid of. There's all these complications and stuff. If you're The Weeknd, do you go, whoops, we tried to do 6, but we failed and we got 5, but I think it's a pretty good 5? Or do you go, the plan was always to do 5? And therefore, surprise ending, bitches. You didn't even expect it. I'm playing mind games with you, Chris Angel.
You guys don't know how it ended, though.
I read the synopsis on Wikipedia.
What'd you read?
That apparently like revelations come out about The Weeknd being like arrested for domestic abuse in the past.
Yep.
And then she's like, I'm never seeing him again. But then at the end on the stage, she's like, you know what? Actually, he's the love of my life and we're back together. Which seems like a pretty cool moral to give to the teens watching this that like Euphoria.
I mean, I think everyone on the show is garbage and shitty. You're not supposed to like any of them, including her, but you're supposed to kind of feel bad for her. I think Lily Rose Depp did do a really great job. She was very moody and
you would be moody too if The Weeknd was constantly living out his fetishes on camera with you.
I mean, he's kind of hot, so maybe not.
You think The Weeknd is hot in this show? He looks like a man that showed up uninvited to a Matrix-themed orgy.
On the show, he looks like a creep. Like he doesn't, that's my only thing with the show, that it was like you said earlier, David, like nothing is left to be mysterious. They very much spelled everything out, which doesn't, it's the only part that really doesn't make sense for me. Why would she fall for this guy? He's got a rat tail.
Yeah.
I have bad news for you, Bobby. That's the whole premise of the show.
He looks like a guy that has a hole in his car's floor.
They should have made him a little bit They should have made him have the Weeknd charisma at least. I think he wanted to be like.
I don't think
"This
he
is
could
my
do the Weeknd
ultimate-"
No, he
charisma.
doesn't have charisma as an actor.
He doesn't have charisma as an actor, but like you guys, he sells out and is a millionaire. Like people love him. and
There's
he
a
does
difference
have
between being
charisma
an
on stage.
actor and a musician.
But
Do
yeah,
you know
does
who
have
should have
charisma on
played his role?
stage.
Do you know who he should have done? He should have probably got like Donald Glover. Because
Yeah.
that
Donald
guy,
Glover wouldn't have done that.
why not?
it was a high profile thing with high profile people behind it.
It
No,
was.
I'm not saying, but like Donald Glover, like someone like that, where
I
it's a
think
charming
because the
someone who could be
character
dark.
But
is
also has
so
like knowledge of the music
unlikable.
industry. As,
Yeah.
The character is so unlikable, and you can tell like the Weeknd wanted this to be his alter ego. I'm saying,
but it
he
needs to
should
be
have at
charming
least-
for them to work.
He should have at least looked the way he usually does. Like, you don't need to look like a creep with a rat tail for us to get that you're a creep. We get it. And it was just very obvious that he was a creep the whole time. But then, so I think episode 4, 5, she starts putting him in his place. Her team swoops in,
So
and they're
like 4/5
"We're-
of the way through.
yeah, we're
Okay.
gonna get this guy out of here." So her team thinks that he's in charge. Then her team thinks that they're in charge. And then the last 5 minutes, she's
in
on
charge.
stage and there's a gajillion people watching her. Everybody's obsessed with her the way they would be for Taylor Swift now. Like obsessed with everything she does. And then she leaves him a ticket in his name and he looks desperate. He looks like a moron, right? She leaves him a ticket and then he comes on stage and he looks like a dog with his tail between his legs. And she's like, oh, and throughout the whole show, he's like, we're family. This is my family. This is my family. And he brings in all these like weirdos that he's collected, right, to live with her. And then the end,
There's a
she's
collection
like,
of weirdos.
yeah, she's
They
like
start showing
Ted-
up at the end of the
yes.
second episode.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
true,
yeah,
yeah.
and they're there throughout. Like he moves them into her mansion, and she's like, Tedros, I'd like to introduce you to my family, and her family's all her adoring fans. So then you get like,
If
oh,
I was
she
at that concert, I would be so annoyed.
she was.
I'd be like,
playing-
play a song.
But I mean, she was, and then she introduced the love of her life, and then her team is like, "What the fuck?" Her team's going crazy, like, "How could she do this after all we did?" And then you're like, "Oh, she was in charge all along." But basically, the premise is that they're all fucked up. She's fucked up. He's fucked up.
But
they're
no,
all
no,
fucked up.
that's. But I guess you're just describing a lot of things of people being fucked up. But like, there are plenty of shows where everybody's fucked up. That's like a great like Succession is a show where everybody's fucked up.
This really wishes it was Succession.
Oh my god, it's because it's trying. So what it can't do is what if I was going to take a stab at it is that the ego or the Weeknd can't separate his ego enough from it. So if he really wanted to be a bad guy, the camera has to stop being so in love with every character on screen because every Daniel's a.
Should this show have been called Everybody's Working for the Weekend?
That's actually really good.
Because like and you can see the difference between like Euphoria and that because they are like they're so similar and like you could feel just Zendaya's like presence missing.
I have never watched Euphoria. I don't know how.
Are you kidding me? You've watched the worst version of Euphoria before you watched Euphoria? Bobby, no wonder you like this show. You're eating Papa John's going, this is the best pizza I've ever had. And
I
we're
think
like,
I just like the Weeknd.
yeah, you just want to fuck the Weekend.
Did this make you not like him anymore?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, it is funny. One of my favorite. Okay, we should actually talk about the episode.
Yeah, the first episode.
The first episode. So, Lily Rose Depp has she had a nervous breakdown.
Well, it opens on
Because her mom
a
died.
worse version of the opening scene from Triangle of Sadness.
She's doing the modeling thing.
Yeah, they just keep asking her to do different expressions.
Get it? Because she's a sociopath. She's completely in control of all of her emotions. They're trying to set up that she's going to be the one in charge. But I think that's a bad thing to teach kids. Because, like, you know what 24-year-olds think? They're in control, and then they find out they're not, and it's really bad for them.
We all thought that. Yeah.
But she was right, and now you're just telling a bunch of kids that they're actually right. You'd be like Lily Rose Depp.
I think you're putting so much on the show that you like. This isn't an after-school special.
No, I'm not saying that, but but I'm
Kids
saying,
are going to watch it.
Yeah.
Teens like Euphoria. They'll probably and they like the
Euphoria
Weekend.
is also really bad in terms of like sex, drug use,
but
abuse.
the difference is though, and here's the biggest difference I would say is that those characters are constantly in bad situations. No one in Euphoria is in a good place almost at any point. They are spiraling, they are freaking out, they are getting into stuff they shouldn't be, and it's fun and it's sexy and it's crazy, but overall the point of that show is not look how cool it is that we're doing this.
By the way, speaking of Euphoria, it's the same guy. It's Sam Levinson.
Sam
Yeah.
Levinson. Yeah.
And
He directed all the episodes.
the thing about The Idol is it really feels like it was made by people who are there because of nepotism. Like
Yeah.
Sam Levinson's dad is a famous director. Lily Rose Depp's dad
Yeah.
is Johnny Depp. Dan Levy is in this. Whose dad is Eugene Levy. Like this feels like people who were never told no
Yeah.
are making the show. And then The Weeknd is
It does seem very deliberate.
no one's told him no in years. Because there's so many bad areas where you could have just cut it off
So
at any point.
So she has the breakdown. They're doing that thing, and then they're out. She's getting pictures taken for her first album since she's coming back, and she keeps trying to get her nipple out, and the intimacy coordinator's like, whoa, we gotta. That's a legal thing. You could have your nipples out if you want, but we gotta clear this because we have all these things in here to protect you. And she's like, I'm an adult. I'll do what I want. And then they go out, and then
But
he just kind of gets like sidelined for a little bit, and they go outside.
But I feel like that's something that definitely happened to like Miley Cyrus, because she was the good girl, the good pop star, and then she was like, I'm gonna be naked, and people were like, no, Miley, no, and then those people were silenced. So I think it really does take a lot from real life
but
pop stars.
You know,
guess-
you know what is weird though? In the opening scene where she's being overtly sexual, and then later The Weeknd's character comes in, and it feels like he's supposed to be the character that quote unquote corrupts her and turns her sexual.
Yeah.
But she's introduced hypersexualized.
I guess that's my thing. It's like, no, I don't have a problem with a character going from like, I'm tired of my innocent look.
Yeah.
Let's go. I'm gonna become an adult. I gotta get dirty. I gotta ride a wrecking ball naked. Like that's fine. Also, by the way, I don't have a problem with any of these things as like concepts of like show a nipple on a screen. I don't give a fuck. Like that's not like what
I wrote a letter to HBO. I said, how dare you? I am only 2 minutes into The Idol, and I've seen the devil's protrusion.
Come here for Nick slips. So what is your issue with it?
So it's the thing of it is they're like, man, isn't this guy a square? And we're all trying to be cool here and have like a fun hot shoot, and this guy's fucking being a nerd, fucking destroying the thing.
I
No.
really interpreted it to be as how amoral all the people around
Yeah,
her
but
are.
nobody ever.
Yes.
But the problem is though that nobody ever like really talks about that. Though.
You
They,
don't.
like,
Who's gonna talk about it?
Not
I
no, but they
think-
don't show it.
I
They don't
think
show it in the
any-
show.
I think in any pop star's life, no, they do. They do it later on. It's
Okay.
just very subtle, and I'll explain in a sec.
I don't think about this show as subtle.
in any. Well, this part kind of is. I think in any pop star's life, no one knows they're shitty. They're just after money. They want fame, and that's it. So they're not going to show you, oh, we're moral people. We just want money. The intimacy coordinator, it's not that they were like trying to be bad guys. Any person that shows up in a pop star's life in real life that I think tried to lead them in a better direction, there is a whole team that's like, you're gonna make us lose money. Get the F out of here.
But it feels like
And-
the show's on the side of the people.
You know
It
what-
feels like it feels like they're on her side. For it. The
so-
show feels like it's on her side.
I think to me the camera always
Including the end of the
feels
show
like-
is she's the smartest person in the room at the whole every time.
I think to me the camera is an external character, and you're just seeing these people from the outside. I don't think the camera is giving a full opinion on how you should feel about them.
You know what they should have
And-
done with the intimacy coordinator? When they got back to her house after they went to the club, he should still be locked in the bathroom and be like, hello? And then it becomes a comedy about how the intimacy coordinator's been locked in the bathroom all day. It's a better show than what we saw.
We should
Just
rewrite that. That is
24
actually very
hours
funny.
with the intimacy coordinator
Locked
in the bathroom.
yeah.
So Rachel Sennett plays her best friend
Yes.
/ assistant. And throughout the 5 episodes, you can visibly see that she's very uncomfortable with everything that's going on. But
The character
she's
or the
also,
actress?
Both.
Okay.
Maybe both. I don't know. I don't know how Rachel felt, but you can tell the character was also very lost. She probably loved the lifestyle of like,
Oh yeah, I mean, I
my
think,
best friend is a super
I think she does a great
rich,
job.
like pop star. But then she would tell her, like, I don't want these guys here. Why do you want these guys here? Like, she was trying to get her to some sort of normal.
She just
normalcy.
fucks that other dude in the second episode.
She does, but like, it's also known they're both very young. She ends up leaving at the end. She's the only character, you guys, that does show moral. She left as soon as the weekend was in and out, and then she realized that, like, I think she got so uncomfortable. She left. You could see her packing up, and she just goes, and she leaves her a letter.
Speaking of just going, though, let's talk about the main crux of the first episode, which is a picture gets leaked of Jocelyn with a huge cum stain on her face.
And I wrote to HBO and I said, that's actually fine.
You just have a problem with nipples. I understand.
So then they're just trying not to let her see the picture that it's been leaked.
Yeah, and then saying it's all revenge porn.
Yeah, and then someone from Vanity Fair is there, and they're trying to make them not aware that they haven't told her yet so that she can rehearse for her music video.
Yeah, and then she rehearses for a music video. It's weird. Like, it's so style over any substance. Like, even talking about it, it's just like not much happens.
I think that's what I like the most. Like, when you were talking about the show, and I'm like, oh, I loved the shots taken. I loved everything the art department did.
Yes.
Which I think is also fine to like about it. Like, a lot of shows will pick out, oh, the acting was great, the dialogue was great, like the storyline was great. We don't like enough shows just for their art department, and this is an art department
Just watch
show.
a weekend music video.
Yeah.
That's what
all-
I did for for 5 episodes.
Also, your thing that like nothing really happens in the first 30 minutes. I disagree. I got a sense of who the characters were in that time.
Mm-hmm.
No,
They were setting up who they were pretty
Yeah.
effectively.
Well, but I'm saying, like, in terms of plotting in the show, it's like, yeah, they are talking, but there's not a lot happening. It's just talking about the cum phase for a while.
She's their cash
Don't act like
cow.
you haven't done that for 30 minutes in your personal life.
Yeah, all right, fair.
All right.
Hey guys, thank you for listening to the podcast, and I wanted to shout out a big thank you to everybody who's rated and reviewed the podcast recently. It really makes a difference. It makes us happy. Daniel texts me a little bit every time. He's like, ooh, someone reviewed the podcast, and then I don't have the heart to tell him it's me on one of my many burner accounts. Either way, though, he's happy. But thank you guys for doing that. Sorry, any moment of vulnerability I'm going to be weird about. You can follow me at DPIC Comedy on Instagram. You can follow Daniel at Daniel F. Crow. And you can follow Bobby at Bobbi Elfie. BOBBIELFIE. You can also follow her on TikTok, probably with the same handle. And you follow me on TikTok at LateGrandma69. Because why not? Also, check out my special Goblin King on YouTube. And that is everything. Back to the episode.
But then after that, they go to a club because she needs to unwind for the day.
Yeah.
And we meet the biggest charisma void in the history of television.
Tedros.
Tedros. That's the character's name.
Wait, it's really Tedros?
He's Tedros.
TT?
I can't remember if they mentioned that in the second episode or if that's what I read on Wikipedia.
I have to find this out. His name is Tedros.
That's not his real name.
No, it's a
He
fake
made
name.
It up.
But like that's
a
what
fake
a terrible
name.
fake name.
It's
He's clearly not Greek. He's clearly not that Greek.
he was doubling down.
My name is Tedros Slovaki.
It was very like 90s bad guy to me. Maybe
No,
that's why
that's
I felt so
it's a name the
disconnected from
Jerky
it.
Boys come up with for one of their prank calls. That's what that name is.
You're calling car dealerships named
Yeah.
Tedros.
Yeah. Oh my God. You could do a great series of prank calls as the Weeknd's character from The Idol. Just calling up plumbers, being like, and then I choke you with your robe.
You know what? You plumb like you've never been fucked right.
And then once the Weeknd shows up, the next 2 episodes are about how he's the best at sex.
Yeah,
That's
really.
all that happens for the next 2 episodes.
It does feel like that whole second part where she's like they're dancing and then it's like they don't fuck because romance. And
No, I didn't know that's what romance is.
Yeah.
oh no, TV romance is you don't fuck on the first date.
Oh, I thought it had to do with just you have a rat tail. It's romantic.
They
There
are-
was actually like a 5-minute discussion about how she's never hooked up with a guy with a rat tail before, and he goes, "Is that what you call it?" Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's what you call it. It's a rat. What do you think? It was a mini mullet? Jesus Christ.
very
I
bad.
braided my braided
It was
mini mullets.
So bad.
Mini mullet really
I'm
tickled
just
me.
like picturing like hair and makeup department, and
No,
somebody,
they did not exist.
Somebody
They
was
did not
probably like,
exist.
"Are you sure this is what you want?" And he's like, "Yeah," and definitely someone from hair and makeup was like, "What if we just cut this off?" And he was like, "No."
No, he's like, I saw a guy at a methadone clinic that looked like this. This is what I want.
It was obviously a wig in the word, like so bad,
Yeah. No. Oh.
so bad.
It is. Yeah. The whole and then so they go back to her place, and she's like, "I'm gonna play this music for you," because it's her new sex thing. And he's like, "Yeah, you don't fuck good. I'm gonna show you how to fuck good."
He says the song makes it seem like she doesn't know how.
Yeah.
And hey, The Weeknd, this show makes it look like you don't know how.
That's not wrong. It's an
You
accurate
don't
thing.
You don't think The Weeknd knows how to fuck based on how he acted in this show?
The
I
Weeknd dirty talks like I assume I would. It is awkward and uncomfortable, and he, act like you've been there before, pal. What are you doing?
Whenever a man is that confident about his game, and then I've had sex with him, I've been like, oh, okay, this was.
Yeah. Well, you can
What
tell.
it-
You gotta you gotta rest in it. You can't just be really projecting all of it right away.
No one's like, I'm really good at. Nobody's convincing you, and then you do it, and you're like, oh, you were right.
Yeah, it's always better to be a surprise.
Well, because when people are like very in tune and good in bed, they don't talk about it usually.
Well, no, there are different ways to talk about it. That's
yes.
yeah, that's really.
They don't flat out say, I am really good at this thing.
Yeah. By the way, if you want to learn how to have sex, let me choke you with a
I'm gonna
handkerchief
teach you.
right now.
You know what? Every episode should have ended with no animals were harmed, but The Weeknd's ego was. Because he was clearly trying to convince us that he was great at sex. And I don't know why you need my approval, dude.
He needs everyone's approval.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, he's also he tried to create a TV show about it. He needs
Yeah.
everyone's approval.
We have to find out if he's good in bed now. I wonder where we can go. gonna go-
www.istheweekendgoodatsex.com.
Good at sex?
No, groupies have to sign NDAs now. It's a different.
No.
You don't think so?
Well, I know celebrity like girlfriends that he's had don't.
Oh, well, yeah, that's true.
So I'm gonna do a deep dive on
Listen,
whether or
guys.
not he's good in bed.
He also does deep dives, and that's why he's so good in bed.
Oh shit.
I'm gonna Google, guys. Is The Weeknd good at sex? Does anything? Yeah, in the
And it'll just be on his Wikipedia page. He will have edited it himself. Section.
You know what?
Weeknd good at sex.
You guys only watched the first 2 episodes, like the whole 5 episodes. The show's supposed to is trying to make it seem like, oh my gosh, poor Jocelyn, she's getting taken advantage of. Poor Jocelyn. And then at the end, they kind of turn it around where they're like, it's not an empowerment thing where you're like, yeah, Jocelyn, go you. You're like, oh, she wasn't getting taken advantage of. She's also a psychopath right there with them. And it really doesn't matter whether they made her or not. It doesn't matter if she was famous since she was 11. At that point, she's just as insane as the rest of them.
When you put it that way, I'm curious if this had debuted just a little later, if critics might have liked it a little bit more.
Why?
Right after this gets canceled, that story about Lizzo like abusing sexually all of her posse and just terrorizing them came out. And I wonder if people would have been like, oh, it's like that. We now see how depraved pop stars truly are from
Yeah.
the mind of one themselves.
Maybe.
If it would have been more in the zeitgeist.
That's a good point.
I get.
Well,
I guess like you're saying that you can't assume the camera is trying to say anything as a character, but the way it frames its characters and the way it actively like tries to like the angles and the style and everything is very romantically shot. Do you know what I mean? It's very stylized in that style of like this is like a cool, sexy thing.
I think you are in their world. I think the camera wants to make you feel intimate, like you're an intimate part of their world, but doesn't want you thinking that this is good. It's like hanging out with all these people, but you're not in their world, so you're like,
But,
what
but
the fuck?
I think I guess
you're
that's
not into it.
I
You're
guess
just like, okay.
the
I
difference.
think David was into it.
I'm at this house party.
No, sure, I jerked off once, but whatever. I'm kidding.
It's like
Just to the weekend.
yeah, just the weekend, just
It's what he would've
monologuing.
it
wanted.
was the rope scene.
No, it wasn't even. No, it was nothing sexual. It was just him just being like, I know music and fucking good. I was like, yeah, me too. Weekend.
What do you mean you don't like Prince? There's a lot of discussion of Prince in this.
Yeah.
Is there? What are they talking about?
Well, she got posters of Prince
I know she has the posters.
all up.
Yeah.
And then at one point she's like, "Oh, I don't even like what I do." And he's like, "But pop music is the best Trojan horse of them all. Think about Prince or something like that." And then in the next episode, he's like, "You've got Prince posters." I don't know. There's just a lot of discussion about
Who wrote
Prince.
the show? Wow.
Sam
The Weeknd
Levinson.
and Sam Levinson.
They wrote the whole thing?
Yes.
Oh, they didn't have a writing staff.
No,
That makes sense.
that's what I'm saying.
If the
Weeknd
writer's
wrote
strike
the
had
show.
happened a year earlier, they would have had
Wow,
minimum amount of
wow.
writers needed on rooms, and people would have been able to step in and be like, "Hey, The Weeknd, just a quick question: why are you putting your fetishes into the whole script?"
Wow.
Yeah, you have to get good at movies first, like Quentin Tarantino did,
Well,
and then you can have.
then
Then
put
you can
in
show feet.
Yeah.
Then you can have Salma Hayek put her foot directly in your mouth. Oh, do we not see? From
No,
Dust-
we have, yeah.
From Dusk Till Dawn?
Yeah.
I just did a scene in acting class from Quentin Tarantino.
Uh-oh.
Death Proof.
Oh, well, still could be an uh-oh.
Well, yeah. Well, she was sitting in the back seat of a car, and she, like, it's very deliberate. She's got her feet out the window, bare feet. I'm like, listen, I'm not getting paid for this. It's socks on. This is for no one. I got my bare feet out right now.
Oh
though.
hell yeah! Sorry guys, not a video episode.
This is just for the boys.
Just for the weekend.
Weekend makes me want to take my shoes off.
So let's get into the second episode, the bottle episode, which was episode 2. Normally, we see the thing is we would watch the top-rated episode, but the problem is diminishing returns happen per IMDb, where every episode was rated lower than the last.
Wow.
So we just watched the second episode. Usually, it's a bad sign because that just means that people were like they were still holding out hope.
Yeah.
The second
I get
episode
it.
is so boring.
It really is.
Nothing happens, and then the weekend shows up and just does sex things again. It's the first episode with a more boring start.
Yeah, she just kind of goes, "We're gonna do it," and she dances with a bunch of guys, and they're like, "We're not feeling it. It doesn't work."
Oh, the music video, yeah.
Yeah, there's a whole music video with that, and then there's like a weird musical interlude also, where like he's like trying to get. I guess that's what he's trying to do. He's trying to sneak his posse in and be like, "Well, she's a really good singer too."
And you know what? She should have been the lead.
Yeah, she's really good.
No, that's she's in Red Rocket.
Oh, wait, that's what's her name?
Yeah.
Oh,
What's Red Rocket?
Fuck!
It's a very good movie. You should check it out.
I didn't even
Oh,
realize that
okay.
was her.
It's her, yeah.
Are you talking about the Asian pop star?
No,
No.
the girl that plays piano.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
She also plays piano
Oh.
nude in Red Rocket.
The
Yeah.
girl
She's
that
just the
plays
main
piano, the white girl with the long,
Yeah.
mousy brown hair. She ends up
Or it's
singing.
like red hair.
Oh, maybe
She
it is
sings
red.
as well.
She sings on the show. She has a very haunting voice, and it's so beautiful. And I kept forgetting to look her up, but she was phenomenal.
You should watch Red Rocket.
Yeah.
I will.
She's
Because here's
really
the thing,
good
She
in
was
that.
that's a
so good.
That is a show, or that is a movie that is kind of doing what you're talking about, or that we're talking about. Is the camera in Red Rocket doesn't make a lot of judgments, but you are able to see everything from that. It doesn't romanticize anything that's happening in the movie. It's not a movie about like how fun or crazy this is. It's like, oh yeah, this is just like a crazy fucked up thing. And that is a more objective camera, I would say. Would you say so? Red Rocket,
yeah.
like that is an objective camera
But
But
standpoint.
that's the difference between someone.
Also, it's not.
That's the difference between Sean Baker and Sam Levinson
Yeah, exactly. That's fair.
and The Weeknd.
The Weeknd. Oh God. Yeah, no, subtlety is not a strong suit. It's also,
That said, if they wanted a more male perspective, they should have brought in Sean Baker once they fired Amy Simons, because not only is he a better filmmaker than Sam Levinson, but he also works with non-professional actors all the time and gets great performances out of them. Non-professional actors like the lead in your show. The Weeknd is not an actor.
Yeah.
Bring in Sean Baker or the Safdie brothers, who have worked with him before on Uncut Gems.
but also,
Uncut
by the way,
Gems?
it's not Uncut Gems. It's not her. She's not the lead.
Oh.
It's not her from Red Rocket.
It is
Damn.
totally her from Red Rocket.
Brie Elrod.
No, Suzanne
Oh.
something.
Shoot, wait, maybe I missed. Oh, Strawberry. I looked at the wrong
Yes.
person. Yeah, there we go.
She's
okay.
in Red Rocket.
Yeah. Oh, yep. Okay, there it is. Yep. Okay, my bad.
Check it out.
You look so stupid right now.
I do feel pretty stupid. I couldn't remember her name because I wanted Susanna Sun. She's really great.
Yeah.
And
Like-
she would be great in that role.
That's the thing. Like when I said earlier that Jocelyn is super sexualized at the start of the show, so like the Weeknd is supposed to be this corrupting character for her sexually, but it doesn't matter because she already is like that.
yeah.
You should have
Susanna
Sun
Sun.
play like Miley Cyrus Party in the USA era type pop singer, and then have the Weeknd show up and sort of corrupt her, and that's a better show.
Yeah.
Because also she has like a face where you'd be like, she could convincingly be 16.
Yeah.
So it would be like you would like that character's supposed to be so creepy. You'd be like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, exactly.
They never did. They say how old Lily Rose Depp's character is supposed
I
to be?
think they allude to her
Jocelyn?
being like 23 or something.
Yeah, I thought she was around 23, 24.
Yeah, but I'm saying like it's a better show if he's supposed to
Be
like
this
be a corrupting character. He should go all in on that.
Yeah, because you're not actually corrupting a character. You're just adding a little bit of choking spice
Yes.
to a
Well,
already.
he's not. He's like, you think this is sex? I'm gonna show you what sex is. But
I wasn't happy to learn.
that's a lot of the commentary that I read that people didn't like about the show, which is just it was like a huge jerk off session for both of them to be like, oh, just another show where the male wants to play with the woman and literally use her to do his bidding. Like,
Yeah.
you're just my sex toy. That's all you are. I'm going to enlighten you. I'm going to show you how sex works. I'm going to show you how
So-
this works.
Right, but then what is the story of the person who's already corrupted becoming slightly more corrupted?
And that's where I
It's a hat
think
on a
people
hat.
weren't fully understanding. She wasn't innocent.
No, but
But they
I'm-
kind of try to pretend like she is at some point.
But no, but
They
what's
tried
what,
to
what-
make her
what's-
look
what's
dumb.
What's her character arc? Bobby, if you're going to describe Jocelyn's character arc throughout the show, because you've seen all 5 episodes, what would you say? So she starts as a formerly crazy. Hold on, let's do the dumb.
They're going to arrest the Weeknd for his crimes against television. Now you have to keep it in.
Yeah, I'm gonna. Well, I know. Okay. Anyway.
I think in the beginning you want to believe that she is vulnerable and susceptible to influence around her, and you want to take care of her, right? That's what they want you to feel.
No. But
But they
I'm not-
also don't portray her that way because immediately she goes to her photo shoot. She's like, you know what? I want to be nude. And
Yeah, you're supposed to think like, oh my gosh, this poor girl, she's out of control. She wants to be nude.
Okay.
She's not supposed to be nude.
Well, that's not. I didn't get that vibe from that. I don't think. Who
that
cares
wasn't
if she's?
the kind of photo shoot that it was supposed to be.
But if they wanted it to be that arc, there should have been someone else being like, hey, why don't you do this? And then she goes, okay. But she just does it of her own accord.
yeah.
Yeah, she's choosing to do it. She's
Kind of
not-
like how Britney Spears just grabbed a fucking buzzers from salon and shaved her head.
Well,
yeah,
that was
but
actually
she's not that crazy.
Also, Britney's thing was like way more about controlling her image and being like, "Oh, everyone wants to take pictures of me everywhere. Well, I'll shave my head and get rid
Yeah.
of. So now I
But
don't
it's
look like that."
still
Trying
not
to.
the healthiest way to
Oh,
have done that. She genuinely had a
absolutely.
mental breakdown. It was very
Yeah.
sad to watch, and we all watched it. So I think
you know who
this
else
is-
had a mental breakdown and then it was very sad to watch and we all watched it? The Weeknd. He filmed 5 episodes of it.
It's so that's but once again the character arc is so what is her so she starts off as this she's coming back into it.
Mm-hmm.
Is this like a Stella how Stella got her groove back? Is that the arc? Is it she used to be sexy at 22 but now she had a mental breakdown. Now
Oh, she's old and washed up
At
at
24.
23.
I think
Yeah.
you're watching her. I think you think, not you. I think the audience is supposed, if they had done this properly, which I agree they did, but I think they wanted to take the audience on a trip where you're watching everyone around her take advantage of her. But truly, by the end of the 5 episodes, you're watching this person's villain origin story.
So you
This
think
is her villain origin story, and you're watching it. You just watched it happen. That's really what it is.
So she's so the entire time we were just rooting for the villain?
Yeah.
Okay. That doesn't really
Yeah.
But because then she's doing you have to show us some of that. You have to
I
show
know.
us
That's
you have-
why
Yeah,
I
they're trying to
agree.
do
It
Breaking
wasn't
Bad, but he's
very-
starting off selling meth.
Well, I
In the
think
first, like,
No,
when we
that
meet
would-
him, he's a meth dealer.
No, that would be funny if he was. No, he's a retired meth dealer getting back into the game.
Yeah.
Actually, that kind of works. He was 22. His dad got shot. Now he's back in the meth game at 23. Wonder if he still can have his spark.
they had to have made her more.
And luckily, he meets a man with a rat tail who's able to inspire him by fucking him into better meth.
Well, I think you should talk about. You're better suited than I because the second episode does feature the one that got a lot of press for being the worst sex scene in history.
Which sex scene was it again? Remind me.
You know, the one when he hides behind a chair and watches her pleasure herself on the bed.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it wasn't supposed to. That wasn't supposed to be hot. I could tell, like, or sort of. It's like, it's supposed to be off-putting. It's the problem is that actually, and it might be honestly a little bit. Sam Levinson might be so good at just doing that stylized camera, and that's the only thing he really knows how to do.
Why does he hide behind a chair?
Because they want to let you know he's a creep.
She was blindfolded.
But
you
that's
make
how
a great
creepy
point.
he is.
No, I don't. No, you're right. No, I just even think about the blindfold.
I was
didn't
just
even think about it.
confused.
Yeah,
they
you're right.
More
want
than
him-
anything.
They want to show you he's that much of a creep and voyeur where he's like, I want to pretend like I'm not even here watching you.
What? But that doesn't make sense. That's not his character
It-
at all.
You know what it felt like? It felt like it was setting up for a gag, like in The Naked Gun or something, where he would have just turned on a recording of him and then left the room to go do something else. That's what it felt like.
Ooh, keep choking yourself.
And then it skips.
Ooh, ooh, ooh.
Yeah.
And then it's a weekend song.
Yeah.
So-
You know what else I learned reading the Weekend's Wikipedia page? He was apparently going to release a whole album of music from The Idol. And
he was.
It got canceled because of how poorly received this was.
Yeah.
There's a couple of really good songs on there, and one of them that Redhead sings. It's so haunting and beautiful when she sings
Oh,
it.
I like the music. The music is just solid
Yeah.
pop music.
It is.
It's solid pop music. Weekend can write good hooks.
Oh,
for-
God. Speaking of the music, though, it's very funny in the second episode when she's like, here, I've remixed my song and I want to release it. And it's exactly the same as the song was before, except she's added in moaning.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, you can't do that. But she's already, and then they go to her music video shoot where she's essentially naked.
Yeah.
She's already like the most sexualized pop star in the world, and they're scandalized by her moaning a bit in her song.
because her team wants her to present as the good girl that
Then why are they setting up that music
could
video?
be bad, because that's how they sexualized all of them. Like Britney Spears was 16 fucking years old.
No, we're with you. We're
in a
with you
video
on this.
where she had like I
The
look
schoolgirl
back on
shit,
that,
it's insane.
The school, like, I can't believe that happened, dude. I can't believe we lived in that time because I don't think that would
Well,
ever be made
people
now.
thought Y2K was going to wipe all the music videos away, and no
True.
one would ever have proof
Should
that
have.
that happened.
Like, we normalized so much for young women, young girls, like at 16 to do that. But then to be like, you don't talk about sex. You and Justin don't have sex. You're a virgin. And she would get asked questions at 16, 17 about
Yeah.
her
You know what-
virginity.
you know what's
making out with men. Like,
You know what's worse that we're normalizing? 35-year-old pop stars making shows on HBO. It's way worse. We should not normalize that.
But the other thing to say within that, I wonder how much it's interesting as we've like because we just have so much more access to sex than we used to have. Like just in a way that like it was magazines up until the 90s.
Yeah.
Like
Oh,
up until
throughout the
30 well no
90s.
but magazines. It was like you didn't have or video. Like you had to go find a VHS. You had to go like there wasn't even like you couldn't just like get a picture over like 7 minutes to jerk off to cuz you
MTV.
Right, but like, so it's that thing of like, I wonder how much like a lot of that is just people are just didn't know how to handle being horny, like without
It's like the sketch in I Think You Should Leave where he sees the honk if you're horny bumper sticker.
basically, yeah.
I thought you'd have some magazines or something.
I love that show.
Also, just real quick, shout out to Eli Roth, just really having a blast.
You know what? Thought he was pretty good in the little bit that I saw him
He's having a
doing.
blast.
Yeah.
He's clearly he's
Yeah.
Andrew Finkelstein. That should have been the weekend's name.
Got to be great if you had a different name every episode. Each one less
Tedros Finkelstein. Teddy F.
Tedros Finkelstein.
Tedros Finkelstein.
Tedros Finkelstein Tedros.
That's just a law firm. Yeah, he's doing a great job. Rachel Sennett. And so the other B plot of the whole thing is that Rachel Sennett is gonna fuck a black guy. That was it, right?
Yeah.
In fairness, they don't make a big deal out of his race. It's not like they're, fetishizing him for being black.
It was the undertone.
There
of
was a
what
little
happened.
bit of like, have you ever done this before?
Yes.
Kind of like they do.
Yeah.
They're doing.
It was, yeah.
There was enough where I was like, what are they like?
He meant, have you ever hooked up with a guy with bleached hair?
Oh, yeah, that's what they meant.
Because he looks exactly like Cisco.
That's actually Rachel Sennett's
Like
exact
a
fantasy.
bigger,
Cisco.
hotter Cisco.
What if she was like, I'll agree to do it, but you need to let me put my fetish in as well. My fetish
What
is
if everyone
Cisco.
just threw in one of their little fetishes?
And then let's go through the whole cast. What are all of their fetishes?
Also, I like
Hank
the
Azaria loves doing accents.
I can't believe that was Italian.
I love the idea though that she was like, I want to fuck Cisco, and then she's just trying to hump a modem later.
A modem?
CYSQO. Anyway, that was not for anyone. That's a
Okay. Jesus.
Oh, that was too smart
Okay.
for us.
too smart. Okay,
Yeah.
no, please, that was weekend smart.
The thing is, I literally thought, I forgot the scene where someone humps a modem in this show. Because that could happen.
I'm like, did that happen?
Ooh, you got a spicy download happening. It just the computer's gonna have to work really hard to render this whole music video. You better sit on it. That could have happened in the show.
Yeah.
Holy shit, that could have happened in the show. The Weeknd just makes her sit on a computer monitor, rendering her music video.
Well, he
Her
makes
computer
her
system.
put a glass between her legs. No, she does that of her own accord. And then it breaks, and then she goes to makeup, and they're like, "Why are these cuts on your legs?"
Classic.
She wants to feel something.
Ironic.
I think the show is really trying to make it very obvious that she just wants to feel, and she can't feel anything.
Well, maybe she should stop trying to manipulate everybody and just try and be a better person.
Go read the YouTube comments on one of your videos where people say, "I love you."
That'll
that-
validate.
Yeah, just do that.
So then,
You have to feel it from within.
yeah, the music video falls apart, and then they have sex.
And it's hot.
Yep, just it's honestly it's boring.
Remember when I called it the idol?
Yeah.
Feeling pretty vindicated right about now.
Wow, Chekhov's pun.
Where was this sex? Was it in her bed?
No, that's when he hides behind the chair.
That's
then
in her
just-
bed, but
Yeah.
And awkwardly dirty talks. I think put in a clip here. People
Okay.
need to know.
Oh, yeah, just like that, baby. Yeah. I wish you could see what I'm looking at right now. How beautiful you look. You look like a dream. Imagine my tongue on your pussy. Fat tongue. I want to grab you by the ass.
so yeah, and then they have sex, and then there's a song, and then it's over.
Credit to the song. It's the Suzanne from
Yeah.
Red Right. She does a great job with it.
Yeah. That's the thing. Is there are really good acting performances in it, but it is anchored by probably the two weakest performances. And that's what I would change about the show.
Yeah.
It's literally you replace the two main characters, and that seems crazy, but like it kind of like Zendaya brings a lot of depth to Euphoria in that character. And if that character was just a character that loved doing drugs and was kind of crazy, then that wouldn't be an interesting show.
I heard she was really good on that show.
She's incredible. She's so good in it. And if you have someone like that, even like Suzanne Son anchoring it, it like fully creates that space in a different way where you start feeling, because maybe the camera isn't saying anything, but the actors aren't telling us anything either. And if neither of us are telling them, we have to figure out what we're made to feel about this, and we're going to figure that out based on.
She was very vapid and just lost the
Right.
whole time.
And you
Like,
can't have
every
that be your
episode.
lead, especially if it's next to another person who kind of appears like he's lost and just wants to come.
I've never seen
He
her act
seemed
in
like he
anything
was
else.
lost like in the Super Bowl halftime show. He had that thing where he was like in backstage area, he was looking all around, and he was lost, and
Oh, I
became a
don't
meme
remember.
briefly.
That's funny.
You guys don't remember the Weekend Super Bowl
No.
halftime show?
Oh, I committed it to memory, obviously. I like the idea you would never listen to The Weeknd unless it was a Super Bowl halftime show.
Yeah, I love that you know that, and we don't. We'll look it up.
I don't. I mean, I'm sure. Look it up. It did happen, I assume.
No. We'll
Why would I
watch it.
lie about him doing a Super Bowl
No, say
halftime
we'll
show?
watch it.
Oh, okay. We'll watch it
I
together.
wish he had done the Super Bowl halftime show right before Euphoria, right before The Idol came out, and it was like themed around The Idol to promote the show.
Oh, that would
that
have
would have been great. You had the rat tail.
And fuck it, I'll recommend Euphoria. I think it's a great show. Go watch it. It's very silly and crazy. Daniel, what would you improve about the show? Or
I think
yeah.
I said throughout how I would improve it. You shouldn't have fired Amy Simons if you have to.
Yep.
Get someone that's not Sam Levinson. If you can get Sean Baker, go for it. Replace The Weeknd with Donald Glover. Replace Lily Rose Depp with Susanna's son. Make
Yeah.
her actually get corrupted. Start her off a little more innocent. Then you have a character development.
You have a full breakdown. This is an outline.
It's not an easy fix. That said, I think they have the right supporting cast because those first 30 minutes where they're just letting pretty good character actors do their thing, it's not bad.
Yeah.
So
That's fair.
they have the skeleton.
It was like it wasn't good, but it was like it's got enough style to where I was like, okay, I can just watch this. It's not like some of the shows we watch. It's just the production is so bad.
Yeah, if you can't hire and fire different people, though, at least have someone whose job it is to tell The Weeknd, no, you can't put that in the show, and don't lock them in a bathroom.
All right, and what show would you recommend?
The Weeknd Super Bowl halftime show.
Bobby, how would you improve the show?
I have no notes. It was
Perfect.
perfect the way it is. I would I would take out the rat tail. Stand by that. That is the only thing I would do.
I
You would
think he
increase the
should-
budget by one pair of scissors.
I think he should move the rat tail to the front.
Just put a comma right in the
I
middle
would-
of his face.
I would make it a man bun.
Ooh, man bun is a healthier way to be a dirtbag.
Yes.
Yeah, man bun. Weekend with a man bun is like, wait, what
Every
is?
woman has dated a man with a man bun.
At least hooked up with a tall guy with a man bun. Yeah, for sure. That is a mistake.
Do guys
a lot
do
of
man
women...
buns to make themselves look taller?
No,
I don't know what they
no,
do.
they're already tall. That's why they
Yes.
have the long hair to begin with.
Right.
Because otherwise, you just get a lot of lower back touches, like I do. Anyway, I'm a hot lady from behind when I have my hair out. Bobby, what show would you recommend besides this one that people should check out?
Yellow Jackets.
Yellow Jackets, great choice. All right, guys, that's my bottle episodes. Good night.
Bye. You might be listening to this
Bye.
in the morning, so good morning.